Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium. This is the third of 4 straight home games for the Canes. Central Connecticut State coming off a loss against Southeastern Louisiana at the football championship subdivision level, 56-10, a week ago at home in New Britain, Connecticut. They are down here in Miami, and we're ready to rock. Clark to kick it away. Restrepo is deep. From the 10. Up to the 30.
A lot of explosive plays if you want to be a Cane, and that's what I talk about a lot this week. They haven't had a lot of that, and we're going to see Tyler Van Dyke, the young man who's going to have an opportunity to play and get a chance to finally get some snaps. And look, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Glastonbury, by the way, just 22 miles away from New Britain, Connecticut, the home.
Aren't you happy that I said it correctly?
Very well done, Charles Arbuckle. Great to be with you. First play from scrimmage, Miami. This is going to be Harley. Across midfield and into Blue Devil territory, and he got 17.
His only other rush of the year was for 1 yard. Now they're going to bring him around, give him an opportunity to get the ball in space, good blocking up there, and then the receivers have to block well if you want explosive plays.
Officially a pass from Van Dyke with a little forward flip to Harley. And this play gets a lot less than the previous one for Harris.
As a tight end, I should know that. Those shovel passes are a staple for tight ends. But still, it's almost a manufactured run, even though it's a pass.
Charles Arbuckle, class of 1990, UCLA, in time of the NFL as well. Receiver gets away. This is Harley. He gets inside the 30 and turns it down towards the 25-yard line. They'll mark him out near the 28 or so for Harley, 17 yards and a first down.
I expected him to have a big game. He hadn't played well the last few weeks. Catch, make the move. See another block by a receiver on the outside. Keyshawn Smith, you've got to have that if you want explosive plays.
Up tempo for Miami, up the middle near the 10-yard line for Cameron Harris. And it will be first and goal. Jaleel Brown made the tackle to stop Harris.
Offensive line, pit frame, everybody blocked up. Look at the green versus the white jerseys, moving them out. You can see that right side, Jared Williams starting at the right tackle, paving things down. Nice job by this offense.
18 yards on the run by Harris from the 9. First and goal for the Canes. Fighting to the 7 was Harris again. Dexter Lawson on the tackle, 10 and white.
Haven't had a chance to call much for Central Connecticut State, but Dexter Lawson, All-American candidate. You can see this line has been much maligned, but right here there's some push, there's some power, but number 10 will come off the edge. He's a versatile guy, can play all over the field. We'll see him on punt return, even on kick return.
From the 7. Quarterback keeps it. Van Dyke. Got a couple yards right down to the 5-yard line.
So we heard Jake Garcia would be the guy that would do a little bit more movement with his legs. Tyler Van Dyke right there, able to run, has 3 rushes on the year for about 17 yards. They'll use him in the run game, this RPO or zone read game where you get those edges pulled in.
Van Dyke looking to the end zone. In stride, and a touchdown to Mike Harley. He beat Alonzo Mitchell, and the Canes are on the board on their first drive.
Hey, Warby, I've been waiting for Harley to break out, and it seems like it's been fits and starts over the course of his career. The senior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, has had to play well. Right there, nice job. You know, you got a position where you're a smash route underneath. Throw is a little off, but Harley with a good adjustment, touchdown. That's an easy throw and catch. That's the first thing you start in fall camp and spring camp, and that was a nice play by Van Dyke there.
So Harley with his first receiving touchdown of the season. And Van Dyke has his first passing TD, starting for De'Ara King. Morrigalis has the extra point. 7 play with the headset on. De'Aaron King, his arm might be sore from last week, Buck. 38 completions on 59 attempts, both school records, but the shoulder injury keeps him out of this game this afternoon.
Well, that's what we talked about. The running game has to take over. You cannot have him in a situation where he's throwing the ball every single down. I mean, he's a dual threat quarterback. He can throw the football, but they've got to find a way to not only show this consistently against Central Connecticut State, but it has to happen during the year in ACC play.
Lawson and Pierre are the deep men for the kickoff after the opening drive, with the Miami Hurricanes able to harvest the touchdown to Harley with his first receiving TD of the year. Lawson a few yards deep, and he will stay there for the Blue Devils in their first possession.
Really like their quarterback, Romello Williams, Tom. He is a guy that can get away from pressure, had to grow up a little bit out of Miramar, Florida, so he's coming back home. I know he wants to play well against University of Miami.
For more on the starting quarterback for the Blue Devils, let's go down to Lauren.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I talked to Romello Williams a little bit earlier this week, and I said, this has to be the dream for you, right? He said, yeah, when I was growing up, I used to come to games at Hard Rock Stadium all the time. It's always been a dream to play here at the stadium. He said he's not approaching this game any differently, though. He's going to approach it, take it play by play, step by step, but he is living out his dream. He has about 50 to 60 family members and friends here at the game today. Pretty special for him.
See what he does out of the shotgun, slips a little bit, regains the footing. That pass a little bit behind the intended receiver and incomplete.
Yeah, you got to come up with that play. That's just one of those situations where Romello Williams is able to get out in space, and then he's able to get the ball down the field. But you got to catch that ball.
Zidor. Yeah, Zidor was in there.
Yep.
Couldn't come up with it.
It almost looked like he just gave up on it, but he had some open space if he had caught that football.
Head coach Ryan McCarthy's in his 3rd season. As Lauren told us at the top of the broadcast, they did not play any games last year. In 2020, they'll run it up the middle past the 25-yard line. It's a couple of yards there.
There's going to be some running lanes. What I'll say about this Miami team when you watch them on film, sometimes they get out of position, and that was an opportunity. If you keep your feet, you're able to gain some more yardage. That's the one thing they have to clean up. They cannot allow these big gashing gains against any team, but they also have to be in the gaps, in the lanes, and flow and field to them consistently.
3rd down for Williams and the Blue Devils. He was 17 of 34 for 148 yards passing and a touchdown in the loss last week to Southeastern Louisiana. 1-2 on the year as the Blue Devils come to Hard Rock. Pressure was there, and the pass comes up well short towards the Miami bench area. 4th down. It was Bolden with the pressure on the quarterback, Williams.
They'll come down with Bolden, and he's able to just get around the tackle. J.J. Coleman could not even put his hands on him. But Bolden will do this. You'll see him on the edge. You'll see him coming the inside, and they'll bring him from the back end and disguise it really well. Thorpe Award watch list coming into the season.
Led the team in tackles a season ago for Bolden. Clark will punt it. Tyreek Stevenson is the deep man for Miami. It's a booming punt all the way back inside the 20 and fielded by Stevenson. Gets hit by a few Blue Devils right near the 25-yard line, so that's where Miami starts after the 58-yard punt from Clark. 7-0 Canes.
When your family gathers.
Death Valley, the 404, the Loud House.
It's game time, baby.
Enter Sandman, running through the smoke.
Connecticut State, you got to just come out and play, act like you're at a Root field. Jack Root's grandfather created those fields for him. And then if you look at Miami, explosive plays with physicality. You got to have that. And we saw that in that first drive.
Manny Diaz's team took it 64 yards on their first possession, 7 plays and a score, and Tyler Van Dyke was 3 for 3 in that drive for 36 yards, including the TD to Harley. This one is Smith down the sideline. Smith had one man to beat. Did he stay in bounds? Touchdown, Miami!
When you got a young quarterback, man, you want to make a big play. Coming out of the backfield, Smith there. You can see the cross-buck action in the backfield. Again, good blocking out front. But what I love about Smith is he's saying, I got to take this to the house. I got to get to the house. No, you can't push me out of bounds. I got to get to the house for 6. Look, you know, when you see the end zone, I've been there before where you almost, the turf monster will get you, but it ain't going to get me today, baby. I'm going in.
He was like an Olympic sprinter reaching for the tape, broke it and dove into the end zone, 75 yards. 14-0 with the extra point.
De'Aaron King is probably like, yo, where have all these explosive plays been, guys? We need to keep doing this. That was just a nice, short, easy throw. And a catch for 6. You see the action in the backfield, but again, I'll say this. The guys have to block. You see Arroyo, the tight end. You see guys down the field. And then Smith is like, oh, I see pay dirt. I'm trying to, I got it. Touchdown.
Wow, 75 yards staying in bounds. Van Dyke's already over 100 yards passing after that play. 111 and 4 for 4. Look at Smith right there, reaching. How about your first catch of the season and you go 75 yards for a score?
Hey, I love it. I mean, when you get an opportunity, they've always talked. See, this is the thing, Wormy, and you know this. There's a lot of talent here in Miami. They haven't played up to that level. You know, you look at Michigan State last week, you look at App State, you watch them on film. These are the kind of things that you want to see or you expect to see from a team like Miami that you haven't for the year. And now it's good for them. Can they manufacture this today and then have it the rest of the season?
The freshman Smith getting in the end zone on a pass from Van Dyke. Here's the return from Lawson near the 25-yard line. 30 yards on that return as we take a look at our Toyota Impact Players, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, Buck.
Well, you got to have Romello Williams as a key guy, offensive player. The quarterback has to have good plays, and then Bubba Bolden. We saw him early already making plays. You're going to see 21 all over the field, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. Unfortunately for Miami, their safeties lead in a lot of tackles. They need to change that with their front 7, but Bolden is one of the top tacklers on the team, the leading tackler coming into this season. All
ACC selection from a year ago for the Miami Hurricanes. Still relatively early in this first quarter. That was a direct snap.
Tyshawn James, I think.
James getting in there.
He didn't play last week, right? We talked to Coach McCarthy, and he was saying that we need him to make some plays for us. Big key weapon for him on the outside, 6'3", 210-pound receiver.
So James, the senior, took that direct snap for Coach McCarthy. Williams back in there. Uncorks the pass near midfield, and it's almost intercepted back there to Corey Couch, number 23 in green.
Well, Gilbert Frierson on the outside, number 3, bringing pressure. Watch, he's going to make him rush his clock. Throw it a little bit sooner than he needs to, and sometimes you just wait and let that ball go. You'll hit that receiver in stride. Romello Williams will do this. You know, he'll get juiced and sometimes throw it a little too quickly. But I'll say this, when the kid gets out in space on this 3rd down and 1, I would imagine that they would try to find a way to get a first down to keep this change going, to keep that Miami offense on the sideline.
Going to try to run it on 3rd and short with Nasir Smith.
You know, when I think of Nas Smith, I think of if I rule the world and I got a first down. Imagine that.
And that is enough to move those chains.
The beauty of this team coming in here, though, Tom, is that they're going to get an opportunity, you know, the payday. I don't care about all that. I just want to see them compete. And so far, I like what their offensive line has done. I think Romello Williams, if he could settle down, there's some opportunities. There's some plays on the field for him.
First down from the 37. Williams out to his right hand, sprinting and throwing. Up near midfield and caught. James was wrangled out of bounds on the Miami side of the 50 for 14 yards and a first down, Blue Devils.
Look at how they protect. You move the pocket so you give him a chance. This is where he thrives. When you see that ball put right on the number 2 from 4. When Romello Williams is outside moving around, he's a much better player, and he calms himself down. It gets some of those jitters out of him. If he's a straight drop back guy, when you watch him on film, he's not as good. But when he's rolling pocket or moving half roll, he seems to do a much better job.
From the 48 of Miami. Trying to escape that backfield. A lot of green shirts back there with Nasir Smith. Just a yard. Corey Flagg Jr. first on the scene. Steed in the vicinity as well.
What you look for from Miami is how many missed tackles. That was a tackle for a loss that they had. 30 last week. They're probably the worst tackling team in the country. A lot of their tackles are coming from their safeties or their strikers. 21 for Gervan Hall, and coming into today's game, and Bubba Bolden with 23. That's too many for those back-end guys. You got to tackle up front. Your front 4 have to make those plays.
Now Hall suspended for our game today in violation of team rules, not in uniform, in that secondary for Miami. Back to the ground, it's Smith, the senior from Auburn, New York, got a yard.
So the young player, James Williams, will get an opportunity with 0. I'm so used to seeing 0 growing up as an Oilers fan with Kenny Burrow, but he's just 1-0. He's getting an opportunity to start today because of Gervan Hall being out.
3rd and long.
We talked a lot about trying to stay out of these positions, but sometimes when you've got a team like Miami with some athletes, they put you in those bad positions.
Williams over the middle, and that one hits the turf, incomplete. 4th down for the Blue Devils. Looking for James, number 2.
Dangerous part of the field. Miami comes with pressure like they like to, and you can see here it's right in his face, and Bolden almost got there 21 in the vicinity to get an interception. Not a good place to throw that football.
So Williams just 1 for 5 so far and 15 yards. And now Clark is in to punt. Stevenson deep man. Canes up 14-0. That snap over the head of the punter inside the 15. And he was able to get it away. Clark picked it up and punted it. And how about that bounce he gets?
Got a great roll.
What a play by the punter.
Tom, that's the reason why I was always a second string deep snapper, because I could snap it, but I never knew where it was going, and that would have been what I did. That was a great job by the punter of saving that. Aiden Clark.
The freshman, yeah, the freshman from Tolland, Connecticut. That ball was all the way back inside the 15. Didn't panic. Poise, keep your poise, and that's what he did.
He stayed calm and just got to the football. This is an athletic play. I don't know if people realize you got 2 people coming at you, and you just pick it up and kick it.
I wonder, Buck, if the coaches were yelling at him, just cover it, just cover it.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and Jake Garcia will get his reps at quarterback. After Van Dyke was perfect in the first quarter so far, 4 for 4, 111 yards and a couple of TDs, including the 77-yarder to Smith, 75-yarder rather. Incomplete, trying to come near side to Cody Brown, number 24.
A little bit behind him. We talked about explosive plays so far. Miami with 4, 3 in the passing game and 1 in the run game. Jake has a chance here. Just put the ball out there. Sometimes those are the hardest throws to make for a young quarterback.
First action for the freshman this season. His first snaps. His second pass is on target and caught. Restrepo breaking tackles near side, and he gets popped out of bounds. First down inside the 45 for Miami, and Restrepo with 14 yards.
Well, they're going. There's some great blocking here on the edge, but watch this block here. Right there, just enough. Take one guy out, almost shade the other one. Restrepo with a nice run and catch after.
Brown with the handoff. He's inside the 40 to the 38. He got 5.
Tom, commitment sometimes comes when it's not coming to you and you make plays, and I'm seeing that today from Miami. I'm seeing these guys hustle down the field, do different things. I didn't always see that on tape. I'm just going to be honest with you, especially in the second half against the Michigan State game. Sometimes I was wondering, where is the heart that you have if you're a Hurricane?
Up the middle, and Brown got hit near the 30, just short of it, 7 yards. Freshman from Lilburn, Georgia, ran into Alonzo Mitchell.
Alonzo Mitchell came with the pads. You're going to hear it here. Woo. Safety coming up from this position. 10 tackles on the year.
They try the other side of the field to Rambo. Charleston Rambo, the junior from Cedar Hill, Texas, and a freshman transfer from Oklahoma, got 4.
Leading receiver so far. Great football name, Charleston Rambo. Couldn't ask for a better one when you catch the ball and you're able to make some plays.
Try that side again. Restrepo, the freshman.
So we talked to Rhett lastly, and he said, we're going to go tempo now. And you see another good block by a receiver. 5 out there, Keyshawn Smith. You got to help your homeboys out if you want big plays. I'm just telling you, that's how it happens.
Brown on a little hesitation and spin up the middle near the 15-yard line.
I tell you, Elijah Arroyo doesn't get a lot of catches, but on that last play, he comes across and just cleans the edge. Really nice. Number 80.
So Miami is in the CPI security red zone, trying to add to its lead, 14-0 here in the first quarter.
They've had this CCSU defense out here a long time in this heat.
Angling to the end zone and in. Cody Brown takes it in from 16 yards away, and a Canes TD.
Well, when you have your big boys up front, a lot of different things that have happened inside, but look at the left side of that offensive line and the center right there coming off. Ja'Kai Clark, 53, starts it, but Cody Brown is able to finish it. Nice job by that Miami offensive line.
Cody Brown getting his first carries of the season, and Brown impressive. 4 carries, 34 yards, and the score from 16 yards away. 8 plays on the drive, and they went 57 yards, and it was Brown who finished it off from 16 yards away. Basically untouched, Buck, and all the way to the end zone. 21-zip.
Before we talk about
Manny Diaz.
They killed him on the side game, though.
They did. The hair still looks pretty good, though, and he's all smiles walking that sideline, no question about it. 47-year-old from Miami.
Yeah, this had to be a get-right game for them. They had to play better. I mean, it was, if they struggled at all, and we haven't seen it so far, that's where the fan base and everybody else was already on what's happening. But you got to play well today.
Clouds have rolled in here in Miami Gardens. This will be Dexter Lawson on the return for the Blue Devils, and he is ripped to the turf, shy of the 20.
I'll start early with my Miami stories because I played here a couple times a year when I played with the Colts. After this, I'm going to let you hear and see this hit because this is what you got to do on special teams. Come down hard. Woo! Bring it. But we play here twice a year. I mean, once a year for 4 years when I was with the Colts. Rain, go away, come back real quick. Not bad. Come here for the Super Bowl. Tell my wife, hey, it's going to be fine. It's going to rain a little bit and it's going to go away. Prince was performing at halftime. It rained the whole first half. And she said, she looked at me like I thought it was going to kind of go in and out. We stayed. Prince performed that year. It was great, but it rained that whole game.
Place that's hosted 6 Super Bowls, college football national championship game for the 20 season.
Job of getting Aaron Dawson outside. He's able to catch that, sneak him out of the backfield. It was almost a natural rub. DeAndre Johnson, 13, is trying to cover him, but the receiver coming in, he's able to leak out. Real nice throw and catch by Romello Williams. First downs are going to be the healthy thing for this defense for Central Connecticut State. They need their offense to stay on the field, manufacture drive, give them an opportunity to settle down.
5 yards to Dawson for the Patriot out of Miramar High School. Romello Williams, sophomore for the Blue Devils. Dawson fighting to the 25 and beyond it. A lot of work for just 1 yard as the ball pried free at the end of the play, not a fumble.
We had all of the Miami Hurricane defense running to the football. And I think that was a point of contention. How are we going to be physical on the offensive line and our defensive line? How are we going to play no matter who the opponent is? How are we going to come and fire off and hit folks today?
1 for 3 on third down. Central Connecticut State out of the football championship subdivision in the Northeast Conference.
They're 11-2 in 2019. Had a really good record. Didn't play last year because of COVID.
They were part of the FCS playoffs in 2019. There is a flag on this play.
False start offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Left tackle. Right tackle. Spicer. You know, the parents always get upset, but the kids get called if you're the offensive lineman. Usually when you were little, you had double stripe and triple stripe. They didn't get any run with the ball, so they would always not get any love. And then when they get older and they play offensive line, they still don't get any love. I'm sorry, Reese, but I apologize for you, man.
The win this year on the schedule was at Wagner on September 11th in a Northeast Conference game, 21-19 for Central Connecticut State. 3rd and 9. Williams past the 25-yard line. Needed to get up near the 30. Gilbert Frierson made the tackle to force him out after a 7-yard run.
And I'll say this, if I'm just looking at why things are happening well, this is a good job by Frierson of using the sideline to not allow Romello Williams to work his magic and pick up those extra yards. That's where Miami has not always played well. They come and had bad angles and missed tackles. That was a nice job of forcing him to the sideline and then making him punt the football.
Clark is back to punt again. You recall the last time he was punting, the snap sailed over his head. He went back, retrieved it, and got it away. It's a bouncer to Stevenson. He'll stay away. And that'll stop. Yep, just inside the 20. And for more on these Blue Devils and what they had to go through last season, let's go down to Lauren.
Yeah, guys, you were talking. They didn't play last season. They didn't play a spring season this year. So I talked to a few of the guys on their team, and they said it was really hard to get into a routine and stay in shape. Some guys were using cinder blocks. They were honestly trying to use whatever they could find. Cinder blocks, hills, football fields that they could just run sprints, whatever they could use. That's what they were using to stay in shape in the fall. But a few of them told me, hey, it was really difficult. We tried to wake up at 6 in the morning, but sometimes it's hard to force yourself to get out of bed at 6 in the morning when you don't necessarily have a scheduled practice. But Bucks, you were also talking a little bit about the rain. It's starting to sprinkle down here right now, so hopefully you're right. It goes away soon.
Yeah, when you come back and you're trying to find a way to play, you'll do anything. I mean, you'll just start almost going old school Rocky on him, right? Rocky 4, where he's overtraining in Siberia, something crazy.
Wait, you mentioned Rambo, Rocky. What's with the Stallone thing? Is he here?
No, I'm going back to the 80s.
Okay.
Because those are those movies.
By the way, open invitation. If Sly is here, he can certainly come by the booth if he would like.
Oh man,
that's Smith.
See, you got a kid of the 80s. That's what comes to mind.
I'm right there with you, Tom. You've mentioned Prince as well.
We had a little Nas in there. The music is always one that I like, so you'll know that.
We're getting rain. It's not necessarily purple, but there is a little bit of rain out there. It's a deep ball too far for the receiver for Garcia. Let's take a look at our Toyota Impact players, and they're brought to you by your local Toyota dealers with the Canes on offense, Buck.
Yeah, Cameron Harris is a guy that I said early, but they've had a bunch of different players at the running back position now. And then if on Central Connecticut State is going to be Dexter Lawson, number 10. He is the key weapon for them from that left cornerback. Plays really all over, but he's a special player for him.
Junior from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Blockers and the rush. Harris maybe just a little bit short of the marker. He got 9.
You're going to see a guy come in front of him, and Harris is still in the game. Look at this big guys out front. He gets held up just a little bit by Zion Nelson, but still, when you have those two pullers, you get behind them, they're your bodyguards. You find ways to make some plays behind them.
2 for 2 on 3rd down of the game for Miami, and that should be just enough beyond the 40 to make it 3 for 3. Cameron Harris, the junior.
Elijah Arroyo, 80, is doing his job on the edges today. He's playing really well. They needed that out of him.
So that will be a couple of TDs.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is the rushing game. How will they play? So far, Miami, 11 rushes, 77 yards, 7.0 average per rush, 1 touchdown. Need more of that, but it has to happen every single week.
Canes with the football to start the 2nd quarter at a 21-0 lead. Garcia's in at quarterback. Van Dyke was the starter. Cameron Harris on the run. He got 3.
A lot of attention to this offensive line, too. Jalen Rivers, who got hurt last week, is out for the year, so they've had to do some shuffling up front. It's going to be a key component of what we watch, not only today, but going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's Donaldson, 55, leading the way on this run to the right side up near midfield for 5 yards. Harris again.
Brett Lashley's offense, they really like to pull that guard-tackle combination and get them out in front. Sometimes it's guard-guard or sometimes it's center guard. You'll see different guys getting out and making a path for the running back.
There's a huge hole. Harris to the 10. Takes it to the end zone. 51 yards, Cameron Harris.
So, Tom, what happens is all that pulling happening, right? And then all of a sudden you say, okay, we're going to go right behind the center guard area and gash you. You send the tight end over. It's just a perfect combination. And Harris sees that opening, and he gets to the house. They haven't had many of these explosive plays in the running game. The longest run before today was by De'Aaron King, 29 yards. Now we're starting to see some of these plays show up.
28-0 Miami. 8 plays and 81 yards. Harris with the finish and the speed and the separation. Just up the road from the University of Miami in Coral Gables. Look at that little guy on the side there. Cooling off on the sideline. Cameron Harris, 51 yards to the house in 8 plays and 81 yards.
Yeah, so they have found ways to go touchdown, 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 touchdown. All long drives or short drives, I would say, with that 1 for 75. And if I were be a naysayer or play devil's advocate, Central Connecticut State, we know, is not the same level. They don't have the same scholarships. But I think the thing is that I heard from Coach Diaz and everybody else is we've got to play our best ball today. And so far, this first half, Tom, they've done that. Now, can they continue to do this throughout the year? That's going to be really the question.
Lawson in the end zone, no return. In fact, Buck, the last football championship subdivision opponent for Miami was back in 2019. And that was a win against Bethune-Cookman, 63-0. That was the first win for the Miami head coach, Manny Diaz. Since that time, 14 more wins, 11-6 in the ACC, and prior to taking over, He was the defensive coordinator under Mark Richt from 2016 to 2018.
Yeah, and the big thing is he's now put himself back in the defensive coordinator position this year, which has also brought some questions. So there's a lot of things that they have to clean up. I think the first part of this game so far, they've done a really nice job of showing up and playing hard and being consistent.
Williams, middle of the field. Tyshawn James, the senior. First down up to the 39-yard line.
We said we'd call his name on a dig route. You see Williams with the fire. He's going to get back in that pocket, play fake, and just find his receiver. Right there in between that zone, always an opportunity if you have deep high safety play where you can get that guy open for easy throw and catch.
Let's go down to Lauren for more on Tyshawn James.
Yeah, when he came into college, he actually was a quarterback, and he converted to a receiver. And I asked him, what was that, adjustment like for you? He goes, it was really tough because I'm athletic, so I can catch the ball. He said, I had a really hard time, though, learning all of the routes to run, but it's cool because he says he sees the game as more of a quarterback. He really can read coverages, etc., and it helps him become a better receiver in those situations.
It's a great point, Lauren. When guys switch positions and they become different players or they move to different spots, it allows them to see the game from how they saw it before. Now, having to learn routes and doing different things like that. But he knows what the quarterback thinks, and he's able to get in the spaces to give himself some opening and know where the quarterback's trying to put the football. And what I saw from the first 2 times they went to the sideline, he was right there with Romello Williams and Coach McCarty talking football right away.
Second down for the Blue Devils. Up the middle past the 45-yard line for Keontae Lucas.
It's a real nice run right there by. You're going to see the tight end come across and then right in the center. Good blocking in there. Mason swoop. Center really creating some space on the interior.
1 for 4 on third down in the game. Central Connecticut stayed in stride and caught. Eric Surratt on the run down inside the 40.
I'm not surprised that Central Connecticut State is going to keep going. Now, if you're Miami, you can't just sit back and think these guys are going to show up. Good route, get open. You take that middle receiver, he moves space open. It gives you a chance to catch the ball on the run. Romello Williams with a nice strike, former offensive coordinator before he took over the head coaching job. Talks a lot about their recruiting radius. About 5.5 hours in that Northeast, Tom, that you're familiar with them. Really good football players. Don't always think about it, but there's some kids that can play up in that area.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator for Central Connecticut State from 2015 to 18. Williams stumbles down. Back out past the 45-yard line. Harrison Hunt on the scene for Miami and a loss of 8.
He slipped the very first play of the game, and right here you're going to see, look at his feet. He's trying to get set, and he gets out the feet out from under him. As a receiver, I know this position because I've done it before. You've got to keep your feet under you when it's a little wet. The other thing is you got to just make sure that if you have nowhere to go, get going. Get going forward. He kept going back, and that retreating gave Miami that time to come to you. Sometimes when you play on a field like this, you're not accustomed to it. It rains here quite a bit, but it drains pretty well. You just got to get used to the footing.
Williams escapes the pocket and then angles out of bounds inside the 45. McLeod made sure he couldn't go up that sideline. 3 yards for Romello Williams. Third down, Central Connecticut.
This drive has been actually pretty good. They've been able to keep their defense on the sideline, but they've got to find ways now to keep this going. The offensive coordinator, O-line coach Jeff Ambrosi, see him right. I think he's right next to Coach McCarty.
From the 43. Putting the head down, Lucas. Inside the 40 for 5 yards. It's still going to be 4th and long for Central Connecticut State.
And they're in that no man's land, whether you punt and try to get them pinned in or you go for it. It looks like they're going to go for it. Got to find a way to get a first down and just get in the scoring range.
6 of 13 on 4th down this year. They need to get it down to the 28-yard line of Miami to convert 4th and long. Just did get the snap away. Williams behind the intended receiver near the marker, Tyshawn James, and the Miami Hurricanes take over. 28-0 Miami. They've got the ball back on downs here in Miami Gardens.
Death Valley, the 404, the Loud House.
In our second quarter, take a look at greatness made here, brought to you by Synovus and Mike Harley, moving up the charts here at Miami.
Yeah, it hadn't been really any good receivers here, I don't think. I can't think of any, right? No, but I mean, if you come to Miami and you play receiver, you just think about the history and the guys that have played, whether it's Eddie Brown, whether it's Michael Irvin, whether it's Reggie Wayne. And Mike Harley, when he was recruited, there was a lot of talk about that. And I said it earlier today, there was some times where he's made plays, and there's other times where he hasn't gotten to the level. He has great production, but these are the things that they expect out of him. The big plays, and you saw it today so far, and he's been able to play at a school that has just been known for some great wide receivers.
Reggie Wayne, Michael Irvin.
Yeah, just keep. I mean, I didn't think I could think of any off the top of my head.
Santana Moss.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Lamar Thomas.
Oh man.
Andre Johnson, and the list goes on.
Brett Perriman, who I played with in New Orleans. They're just gonna keep coming.
Great. Rashard Smith on the run, Buck.
Yeah. He's made a big play. That 75-yard touchdown. Again, flip the ball out quick, get it to him, get him out in open space. I think we're going to see more of this from Miami. You're going to see some diversity in their offense. And then I like how he finished. I like how he finished the run. Jaleel Brown trying to come up. He said no.
Cody Brown on 2nd down.
I have on my board, run the ball in all caps, and I see it now. I see that opening right there. Zion Nelson on the left tackle, and then you have that guard on the inside, and Big 60 just creating that space for you, that crease to get up the field. Even with this brace on, I think I could have gained 5 yards on that.
How you feeling over there, Buck?
I'm feeling great.
Okay.
Up and at 'em, man.
Good to see you in action.
Felt like I got shot by a sniper in my quad a few weeks ago, but I am feeling good right now.
Much better now. Van Dyke puts a little touch on this one inside the 10 to the 5, right near the pylon, and in. Charleston Rambo for Miami, and 43 yards.
Tom, I want you to watch what Rambo does as a receiver. The receiver does a great job of getting back on track. He pushes a little bit, but what I like that he did is he tries to give his quarterback something with his body, meaning stack the guy, get on top of him, and don't give Keon Gunn a chance to ride your back and go get the football. Now they're going to review to see if it's in for 6. Did he get in? But I'm going to tell you, when you're a good receiver, this kid played at Oklahoma, transferred here. This young man can play football. Talk about some receivers. Oklahoma has had a great deal of receivers, but then for him to come here and make plays for you. Van Dyke puts that ball up in the air. Rambo comes down with it. Can't see it.
Look at the left foot
out of bounds.
Yep. Would have been his 3rd touchdown grab of the season. Leads the team with 2 coming into the afternoon.
Talk about New Britain, Connecticut. Gunn with a good hustle play of stopping him from scoring. But yeah, that looks like that's going to be put on the 1-yard line. They're going to take those, potentially take those 6 points off the board.
Our referee is Jerry Magallanes. You must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which on the field was touchdown, but from what we saw from our Outstanding production and technical crew. Watch the left foot.
Left foot is there. It doesn't look like the ball is extended.
After further review, the receiver stepped out of bounds and the ball was at the 1-yard line. It will be first and goal.
They made our job a lot easier. Great job by the camera guys of giving us a great look. And sometimes you don't always have the different angles, but that was an outstanding look. Those guys working hard out there.
If that had been a touchdown, that would have been 3 passes in a row, all for touchdowns by Van Dyke, although this one ruled out of bounds at the 1. Has the 75-yarder to Smith, also has a 5-yard TD pass to Mike Harley. Talked about his greatness and joining some of the great receivers. Miami over the top. And in for the score is Cody Brown.
Pull your guys out there, you get that tight end action working, and you just get behind the big physicality of what you need from your offensive line, and you're able to get in. Look at those guys pulling. Boom. Nice hit right there by Donaldson, 55, but that interior offensive line holding firm. A bunch of bodies and strength just pushing white jerseys around, and that's why Cody Brown is able to get in, I think, for his first touchdown. Second touchdown, excuse me. Yeah, he had one earlier.
16-yard run in the first quarter, Buck.
They just come in touchdowns a la Palooza, but
available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
339 total yards in this first half, and the big 35-0 lead. In fact, the Canes have scored on every possession. Cody Brown just took it in from a yard out. Yard deep, but there is no return.
We talked about a physicality and a playing with the purpose. 4 plays, 62 yards, a minute and 13, but Cody Brown, another touchdown added after that long catch by Charleston Rambo.
Charleston Rambo had a huge game last week against Michigan State. 12 catches, 156 yards. Tying the school record for receptions and a career high in yards for Rambo. All right, Blue Devils on offense. They've got 79 total yards, conversely.
67 again, moving a little early.
False start, offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That was a direct snap to James, number 2.
They want to get Tyshawn James involved in that. You're going to see your tackle just a little too quick. And when you're that big, it's hard to hold your water. Everybody in the stadium is going to see you. You know, your parents again are at home. I'm going to give you love, Reese. You keep doing you, man, but you got to hold your water just a little bit, okay? I tried to protect you the last time.
Regardless of the outcome, a memorable moment for the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils.
Yeah, they talked about just really playing hard and coming up and not just showing up, but playing and getting out here and battling.
In a stadium with so much history. Most recent national championship game won by Alabama against Ohio State. 4 times the BCS national championship game was played here. Pierce has the catch. Bolden tackle. 4 yards.
You have the option on the outside. Also, Tyshawn James. You got those 2 receivers running that quick slant. Romello is able to hit him quickly.
90 degrees down at field level when we kicked it off at 12:30 Eastern sharp. Williams looking for direction from his sideline. 6 of 11, 58 yards for Williams. Jeff Ambrosi, the offensive coordinator. Smith, nowhere to go. Nasir Smith. He lost 2 on the play, Buck.
Yeah, it's just been a hard road for them when they try to run on the inside. Smith is a key weapon for him. Out of New York, averaging about 4 yards a carry, but it has been slow going in the interior of the defensive line for Miami. The front 4 wanted to play better, and I think we see that today. Their tackle numbers are not high. It's been a safety-driven tackling team, but today they've done a really nice job of tackles for loss and short yardage tackles.
5 carries for just 3 yards for Smith. Whistle prior to the snap.
Timeout is called. Central Connecticut State, their first timeout of the half.
So on 3rd and long, the Blue Devils want to discuss the situation with head coach Ryan McCarthy. While we have a moment, we will step aside. It's the Hurricanes out in front of the Blue Devils, 35-0. Manny Diaz and the Canes, Buck.
You really have, and I think that's the one thing you were looking for. How would we respond? How would we play? They haven't been penalized, which is huge. Haven't had turnovers. I'll just say this about Miami. The other thing is coming here enough. You talked about 90 degrees at kickoff. This place probably gives you the most IVs besides Tampa when you talk about playing here. And I can remember going in the locker room at some of these games where it was like noon or a 1 o'clock game, whatever it was, and it was so hot that you had to change shirts like 3 or 4 times. And then you get back out here and you're sweating before you even came. I can remember calling a Miami game a few years ago, and I was talking to Frank Gore before. Gore was warming up. He was so sweaty. He said, "Buck, I got to go back in and change. Look at me. I haven't even started." But that's how he plays.
Right.
You know, former Miami guy knows it. He says, when guys come here, that's the advantage for us when we're really going well. And I can attest to it, having played here for 4 years. It's no joke.
3rd and long for the Blue Devils. You mentioned turnovers. That was the undoing of the Canes a week ago against Michigan State. It was a 3-point game into the 4th quarter, but 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, 14 points all in the 4th quarter off of those turnovers for the visiting Spartans. 2 for 6 on 3rd down, Blue Devils. Little screen. Not nearly enough, short of the 30.
Jade Silvera, big defensive lineman with the number 1. Usually number 1s are slimmer, but I'm not going to argue with my big man. He can wear number 1 all he wants if he's going to hustle and make plays like that.
6'2", 308, the junior from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Nesta Jade Silvera. Stevenson is deep for the punt. Miami's punting unit has had the afternoon off so far. This one from Clark. How about that bounce?
He's got those a couple of times.
Found a favorable spot on the field, and that's down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. All right, how about our principal financial worth a watch?
Cody Brown getting a chance to do his thing, dialing it up. Running the ball hard, the offensive line blocking well for him, and he's just saying, look, I'm going to get behind my big guys and take it to the house.
First carries of the season for Brown, 6 attempts, 50 yards, couple of TDs. Touchdown runs of 16 yards in the first quarter and 1 yard in the second quarter for Brown. By the way, Clark just unleashed his 3rd punt of over 50 yards in the game. Garcia up for grabs. Incomplete at the 40.
I'll tell you a guy that's competing is Dexter Lawson. That was a nice job of him going up and just climbing the ladder. Underthrown football right there by Jake Garcia. Has his receiver out there, but this was an excellent job of going up and not letting him get to it. Dexter Lawson, Romello Brinson is the guy that they're throwing to. There's another 0, but he was able to just take that ball away.
That's a throw on the run. And caught by Harley.
Yeah, Harley's a key weapon, man. Look, he had some uncharacteristic drops last week, or the whole team. I'm not going to blame it just on him. They turned the ball over. They didn't play well. But I think that's where you dial in, you lock in. And I know that was the topic of conversation when we talked to Manny Diaz and his crew this week. Penalty tack on there.
It's a late hit against the Blue Devils, and that moves the ball all the way up to the 44-yard line. Harley now has 4 catches and 141 for his career. That's Brinson on the grab.
Late hit on the quarterback. A little frustration action right there by Harold Miles, number 23.
Garcia. Not a lot there for Wiggins. Loss of 1.
You know, when you write on your board things that come to fruition, need key players to make plays when they're available. Miami's doing that. But I also have to give Dexter Lawson a lot of credit. Those plays don't show up, but he's showing up and he's saying, look, I'm going to play as hard as I can. I know you guys are big boys and all of this, but we're going to compete. We're going to battle.
4 for 4 on third down. Make it 5 for 5. Garcia trying to hustle to the end zone. Just clipped near the 5. Jake Garcia, the freshman, for 46 yards on the scamper.
Jake Garcia saw what I saw on film. You get out the edge. Look, you cannot get outrun, and you can't focus all the way down. Defensive end goes down hard. He sees it, able to get outside.
Miami looking for the end zone and diving forward. Cameron Harris, who's already visited the end zone of this game with a 51-yard TD run.
We talk about protecting the edges. If you're a defensive end and you're all the way down in the center area, quarterback sees that, he pulls it. Jake Garcia is a guy that has the ability to run the football, and you saw it on that long play.
Up the middle, trotting to the end zone with a penalty marker on the play. That was Harris. Hold on now. There is a penalty marker that was thrown on the near side of the 5-yard line.
Offside defense number 4 was in the neutral zone at the snap. Penalty decline. Touchdown.
Miami clean again. No penalties so far for them. 2 now against Central Connecticut State. Jake Garcia, give me the ball. Okay, Cameron, you want it? You want to score? Umpire. Touch me, umpire. No, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to give you the ball. Touchdown.
Second TD run for Cameron Harris, the junior from Opelika, Florida. Borregales, who hit a 55-yard field goal in the game against Michigan State. Longest in school history by a freshman. Tacks on the extra point.
The other good thing, I think, if you're Miami, you're getting a chance to get live action for Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia. The young quarterbacks haven't had a whole lot of snaps. Also gives De'Aaron King a chance to kind of coach. He was able to stay here. He was a guy that they thought would be leaving and going to the next level and decided to stay. And I think they did a great sales job on him of staying. And now, how do you continue to get this offense and defense and this whole team going in the right direction? I think that's going to be key. The turnover chains and all that other stuff the guys do doesn't really matter to me. And if you're balling and you're playing well, that's what really matters. And I haven't seen that consistently the first few weeks of the season like I'm seeing today.
Harris took it in from 2 yards away. That gives him an even 100 yards rushing on 10 carries. And the 2 TDs today gives him 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. And once again, the Canes drive it down into the end zone and lead 42-0 late in this second quarter.
You know you're going to have a salty Virginia team coming in here after being kind of manhandled by Wake Forest last night. Wake Forest is for real, y'all. I don't think if you don't know it now, I'm going to tell you again. That O-line and D-line for Wake Forest will punch you in the mouth and take your lunch money. And then ask you, when are you going to invite me home so I can eat your mom's cooking?
Wake Forest is 4-0. We're going to see them next week on your regional sports networks as they host Louisville. Our Hardys star to watch. Cameron Harris to the century mark in this game and a couple of rushing TDs of 51 and 2 yards just a moment ago, Buck. These are Hardys star to watch.
I'm never right at home, but I said he was going to be a star, right, today. So, well, my wife allowed me to say I was right one time on TV.
It says right on the screen, star to watch. And we watched him in this first half run it up and down the field with his teammates. How about 205 total rush yards and 190 yards for the Canes through the air in this first half, where they have scored on every possession. That's caught over the middle. Williams extending the play to Paul Marsh, the freshman.
That's the thing you saw and you watch when you watch film of Central Connecticut State. Romello Williams will keep plays alive. And now he just has to keep finding Marsh and James and Wormley and Pierre and Surratt. He's got to get those receivers because they're so far behind. There are going to be a lot of throws, a lot of plays to be made in the second half against this Miami defense.
You mentioned the next opponent for the Canes will be Virginia. That'll be here on Thursday, so a quick week.
Yep.
First ACC game of the season for Miami. They won in late October last season. Also at home against Virginia, 19-14, where King threw for 322 yards. They don't need him today. He's resting the shoulder. Had the injury in the bowl game, the knee injury last year to end the season.
Came back so quick. And for De'Aaron King, being from Manville, Texas, I'm from Houston, right outside Pearland and all that. There was talk about this kid even when he was in high school. Played with Kyle Trask. I'm not going to go into all of that history. But I will say this. He is a kid that has come back, and they need him. They need him to play well, and they need to protect him throughout the rest of the season.
Right knee injury in the Cheez-It Bowl. Played in Orlando and a loss to Oklahoma State, 37-34 for the Canes. Smith on the carry for no gain. McLeod the tackle.
And we haven't talked a lot about the offensive line, but Javon Brown is another guy up front for number 69 for Central Connecticut State that is all NEC conference, all-American candidate, 69, and they're starting to rotate some different guys in, so he may not be in there, but Neil Tompkins, you can see him. Craig Wood, 64, the center. Like I said, this group went 11-2 in 2019. They've got some talented players. They can play.
They were 7-0 in the Northeast Conference in 2019 and 6-2 away from New Britain. Williams hurdles a defender and throws it. Incomplete.
Kyron Petway has to come up with that. He has to come up with that because the quarterback is running for his life. Okay. Oh, I got to get away from you. You too. And what am I going to do? Set up. Nice job of getting his hips set, getting his feet under him. Petway can't come up with it. And those are the plays you have to make, and those are the ones you will remember when you go back home and you're watching film.
So Romello Williams, 8 of 15 and 74 yards passing in the first half. Clark to punt. Maybe the busiest guy on the field in this first half. Stevenson. He'll let it bounce and wobble near the 18. That was Buck's move back in the day, the bounce and wobble. Bet you didn't know that.
Oh, man.
He's almost back to 100%. Great to be working with you, Buck. It's our first chance to do this. Lauren Jabbar's on the sidelines. Our outstanding ACC football production crew with you from Miami Gardens, Florida, and Hard Rock Stadium.
Talked about it for years. Now we finally get a chance to call a game together, and it's good to see Miami playing as well as they are. But again, we look during that season, and we'll talk more about it throughout the game, what they have to do to continue this kind of offensive firepower.
Little flip by Van Dyke. Harris cuts it the other way. Trying to outrun that secondary. Cameron Harris. 83 monstrous yards. Catch and run, Harris.
I don't see any flags. I see it might be one down for celebration, but it may not be for the speed and the bayou ability. We talk a lot about being in the swamp area. I talk about a guy that has bayou ability. Cameron Harris shows it right there. You catch this ball and you take it all the way to the house.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 23, his first of the game. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Sometimes you get excited when those big plays happen, man. I'm going to tell you from experience. Cameron Harris just shot out of a cannon on that one.
Got the touchdown rings going on the sideline for Harris's third TD. First receiving TD of the season for the junior. A couple of rushing TDs as well in this game. 83 yards. Borregales taking over the kicking duties from older brother Jose. wearing that number 30 that Jose wore. Another touchdown, Buck. 49-zip the U.
Yeah, you just easy throw and catch. The quarterbacks will talk about, I had an 83-yarder, and Cameron Harris will say, no, look, my guy's blocking for me first and foremost. And then I'm going to show you, look, I'm going to lay the hammer down with this hand. This left hand is going, and the right one is going with the ball, and I might over-celebrate, y'all, but I'm excited. And he took it to the house. And Manny Diaz and the coaching staff all have to be happy with this offensive firepower today, because they have not seen this consistently from this Miami team. But sometimes, Tom, you and I both know, I mean, you can see a team that's playing a certain way, right? And then they all of a sudden have just that game that they need. Let's see if that carries over, because quite frankly, this is, you're doing what you're supposed to do, but it's looking actually pretty good. And considering who you have coming up, you better be ready to go. Like you said, a short week, and you got Virginia. And then the schedule's going to get on. North Carolina, NC State, at Pitt. Georgia Tech, who's not been easy to deal with early this season. At Florida State, Virginia Tech, at Duke.
Giovanni Pierce fielded
it. The receiver gave a valid fair catch signal. The ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, so valid fair catch and put it automatically at the 25, and then Pierre thought he was going to probably run, but he said no, there's nowhere to go.
I'm glad you understood just what happened there, Buck, because I thought I heard him say the ball will be spotted at the 40.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, no, that's too far. I haven't heard that rule. If it is, that's a new one.
That is a new one. At the 25. Williams. Tuck and run. Takes it out of bounds for 2 yards. Forced out by Stevenson.
Well, here's the one thing you can have if you're CCSU. You got a chance to get some offensive, something here, and then you get the ball coming out of the break. So if I'm this offensive staff, let's get a field goal, let's get a touchdown, let's get something. Let's manufacture something here, so when we come out of the break, we're ready to go.
Miami took the ball, drove it right down the field, and they have not looked back. Mike Harley had that 5-yard TD reception. Flag thrown in the backfield. Pass caught up near the marker by Surratt.
And every time they have a chance to make a play, there's something that pulls them back. Aaron Dawson with a nice block on the edge.
There is no foul on the play for an illegal block below the waist.
Yeah, I thought that's what they were taking a look at, guys. 29 is going on the edge. We may see it here. And I think when he's blocking, you can cut block outside that tackle box. They initially threw the flag thinking that might have been a penalty. But if you're a running back, you can take a guy high or low. And that's what he did. He just cut him on the edge, and that allowed Romello Williams to get outside. And that was a good job of the officials picking up the flag on that.
3rd and 1. Williams still has it. Tries to go the other side. He's got an open man midfield. And inside the 40. That's Dawson on the catch. Well-devised play there, Buck, for Central Connecticut State.
That was a little bit of acting there. Look, Dawson just gets hidden there on that 27-yard catch. Nice hustle play by Miami. of not letting them get too far down the field, but still a really nice throw by Romello Williams.
Longest play of the day for the Blue Devils. Williams again on the run. Has to sail that one towards his own bench area.
Running for dear life on that one.
Harvey providing the pressure. Well, Central Connecticut State allowed 571 yards a week ago. They've allowed 478 in the first half, and their offense has gone for 134 total in this first half against Miami, and trailing 49-0. Final seconds of our second quarter. On second down, looking for some blockers, and the play does not materialize for Isaiah Williams. Gilbert Frierson on the tackle. No gain.
Again, missed tackles hurt you. Tackling securely out in space helps you. That's what we saw from Gilbert Frierson right there.
Timeout taken by the Blue Devils. 14 seconds to go in our second quarter. 478 total yards for Miami in the 49-0 lead. Blue Devils out of the football championship subdivision. First ever meeting between the programs, Buck, and the first time Miami's ever played a team out of the Northeast Conference. And it's been all Canes without De'Aaron King. Shoulder injury last week, lost to Michigan State. He did throw for 388 yards in that game and a couple of TD passes.
You know, it's good for him to get a chance to reset, let his body heal a little bit. I'm sure it's not hurting his knee, you know, having come back from that, but the shoulder was banged up. He's a competitor. He'll be back. A lot about this offensive line and how they were going to play today, and they played pretty well with the movement of different people, and Jalen Rivers out for the season.
3rd and 10. Williams got rid of it, incomplete, dropped at the 35-yard line. Maybe just a little bit behind the receiver Dawson, but still very catchable.
Yeah, that's one that Dawson would love to have back. I'll say this, people will look at this and think that's the one you should catch. Running away from a quarterback, when you're doing that, sometimes for whatever reason you blind yourself with the way you caught. He had his hands in the right position, but he just didn't execute. Took his eyes away before he even had the ball secured.
Corey Flagg Jr. was right behind him, number 11, too.
I know that because I've been there, and I was a guy that could catch the football, but when I dropped those, I would beat myself up the rest of the day.
Not a good place to be. 4th down now for the Blue Devils. Trying to thread that pass between two defenders, and it's incomplete. And had the potential of being intercepted, looking for Petway. James Williams slapping the turf. Thought he might have had one there.
Drop hurts you because then you have to force yourself to get pressure coming from Miami with 4 or 5 now, and then you have to throw the ball a little early. And James Williams with an opportunity there to come away with the pick, just misses it.
Miami with just 1 interception so far this season. Amari Carter has that pick. 7 seconds here, Buck, in the second quarter.
Excuse me, Tom. That's one area that they talked about too, turnovers, really creating them and making them, manufacturing better turnovers this year.
Well, with that play right there, Miami ran 36 plays, 49 points. That's a pretty good ratio. If you're the Canes as they go to the locker room. 478 yards of total offense. Van Dyke, 6 of 6. 3 of those passes went for touchdowns. Let's go down to Lauren.
Thanks so much, Manny. You told us yesterday that physicality tax
itself, and that's exactly what they did from the opening play of the ball game.
Well, when you're in a position where you're playing an FCS opponent where they have 63 scholarships versus your 85, and you just know that they're in a position where they don't have the depth that you have. You've got to come out and establish yourself early, and Miami did that. And I think Central Connecticut State was trying to manufacture some offense. Let's see if they can do that in the second half.
They will get the ball to start the third quarter. Miami scored on every drive except that last snap right before the end of the second half to run out the remaining seconds on the clock. In fact, Miami ran 37 plays and had 49 points. And Coach McCarthy had to watch him run and pass up and down the field in that first half.
Talk about explosive plays. Miami had 10 total, 5 passing, 5 rushing. The rushing yards per average per carry, 9.7 for Miami.
Harris led the way with 100 yards gained in the first half. And now the Blue Devils will have the football to start the second half. From Hard Rock Stadium in the first ever meeting between the programs, we resume play to start the third. After our extensive weather delay, 5 yards on the ground for the Blue Devils and Smith.
Smith, instead of all I need is one mic, all I need is one cut. And he was able to show you there, getting to the 5 yards. And
now you're speaking my language. All right.
All I need is one mic.
I'm with you now. I'm with you.
He just needed one cut. He was getting there. I knew I would get you with one of them, and that was it. Hey.
Big weekend of ACC football. A couple of games last night. Wins for Syracuse and Wake Forest, who we will see next week. We touched upon the fact that our next game on our schedule will be in Winston-Salem, as Wake Forest will host the Louisville Cardinals on the road to play Florida State today on the ACC schedule. James Bates will join us next week. We thank Charles Arbuckle for being part of our broadcast team today, along with Lauren Jabara on your regional sports networks.
Had a lot of fun working with you guys, and it's been great to be able to get down here with a little bit of humidity and heat, but always good to call ball games down in Miami.
Did you like that extended halftime show, by the way?
It took us back to our roots of working in the studio, so yeah.
Great work by our technical and production crew during the Ford weather delay. That's close to the marker. That's enough for a first down. So Central Connecticut State finding Kenyatta Houston to move the chains.
Yeah, nice play. And one of the staples we saw where they weren't able to complete it is where you get Romello Williams outside. He was a little low on his throw to Tyshawn James, but that time that was a strike that he was able to put right on Kenyatta Houston. Didn't have a lot of catches coming into today's game, but had a big one for 42 yards and a touchdown before this Miami football game.
The delay was exactly 1 hour as the Blue Devils run that one to the 35-yard line. Smith on the carry, no gain.
Smith was trying to make sure he didn't get tackled in the backfield. Trevon Lincoln not able to cut off the defender. He had guys hitting him in the backfield before he could even get back to the line of scrimmage. Much better tackling team today out of Miami. Much better of angles and pursuit. We talked about it early. 30 missed tackles against Michigan State. They ran hard. Teams are going to challenge you. You put it on film, they're going to keep trying it.
Limiting the turnovers as well. Had 4 of them against the Spartans. It's a long pass by Williams, intercepted in the secondary. Interception, Miami, James Williams. Blue Devils were looking for Tyshawn James back there, but it was James Williams, the freshman, with the pick.
Yeah, these guys play striker, getting an opportunity, a young guy, first time to go get the pick. 49-0, the Hurricanes.
This time it's the freshman James Williams here in the third.
Yeah, the young freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, going up center fielder, getting an opportunity to play. 6'5", 225. He's one of those guys that's a rangy player, young player, and this is what you want to do. When you get your opportunity, you not only want to make the interception, but if you're at Miami, you want to get the chain. And that's always good when you're winning now. If you're not, that chain don't look so good.
Amari Carter also has an interception this season for the Canes. They flip it forward to Smith. Unable to turn that corner. Tyler Van Dyke is in there at quarterback, number 9. They got 4 yards on the play. Jaleel Brown had the tackle. Smith had the 75-yard catch and run in the first quarter. They send it back to him, And the play is diagnosed by Alonzo Mitchell. Smith gobbled up by Mitchell, number 1, and a loss of 2.
Alonzo Mitchell coming. You're going to hear him bring it. He diagnosed that really nicely, and that's one play they've run consistently and been able to get some nice yards after catch. Not on that one by Alonzo Mitchell.
3rd and 8 for the U. 5 for 5 on 3rd down. They have not punted in the game. Van Dyke to the right. That's enough and more. Restrepo up past midfield, right to the 50. 25 yards and a first down.
A lot of times you want to see this. How's a guy going to react? A young guy like Restrepo, he catches it, making a 1-2 people miss, getting up the field. A real good play and opportunity for the young players to make some plays.
3 catches now for Restrepo. Van Dyke cannot get away. Okorji on the play for the Blue Devils.
An opportunity for that defensive front to finally get some pressure. Okorji in the backfield and bring down Van Dyke.
First sack for the Blue Devils, a loss of 7 for Miami. 4 receivers set, and Van Dyke would look at the sideline. Second-year offensive coordinator is Rhett Lashley. Spent a couple of years as the OC at SMU prior to coming to Miami. Down the middle of the field and off the fingertips of the receiver, D. Wiggins. That one was on the money from Van Dyke.
It's right here, D, right there. Oh, hold on to it. Big thing is you fight the football is not going to be your friend. He had an opportunity, you look that in and you make that catch and you go home and you celebrate. He would still be running right now had he caught that. They opened that gate down there where Auto Nation is and he would have just kept running.
And although not his fault, the first incompletion of the game for Van Dyke. Now 9 of 10, 263 yards and 3 TDs. That pocket starts to crumble and he can't get away. The pursuit from the D for the Blue Devils. Isaiah Green and a loss of 12.
He and McQuay Washington both getting there quickly. They dialed up some pressure this time, and now they're forcing him out of the pocket, and it's making him get off schedule. And for a young player, sometimes you've been accustomed to just being able to set back there and throw the football. Rondi Gravio, the defensive coordinator, had dialed up a nice couple of plays and made it advantageous for this defense to finally get a punt.
So Lou Headley in there for the first time. The Australian punter smashes this one inside the 20 and a fair catch made by Dexter Lawson. Right at the 19-yard line. That's where the Blue Devils take over here in the 3rd quarter. Sunny skies in Miami Gardens, Florida. 50 yards on the punt.
For special meaning because Manny Diaz resumed his defensive coordinator roles while being the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. This thing, you guys, took 3.5 months to complete this year. It weighs 1,000 grams, and there are 2,754 sapphire stones on the helmet. It was designed by head coach Manny Diaz and jeweler to the stars, AJ Machado from his AJ's Jewelry. Pretty cool stuff, guys. We just got to see it there for a little bit. That thing looks really heavy, but it's awesome.
Man, Buck, that's some major league bling. Is that what the kids call it, right?
I think they still call it bling. Okay. It may be something else, but that's what we call it.
Drip, ice, all that good stuff.
Swag.
Yeah. Pressure on the QB. Williams just had to get rid of it.
He's got to get outside the tackle box, and once he does, he's out of there, and then he's able to throw that ball if it gets past the line of scrimmage also.
How about James Williams wearing the turnover chain?
Everybody wants an opportunity, and I think that's what Manny and his staff have talked about being able. They're going to take a look at this to see if he got outside the tackle box. The ball didn't get past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. If you're able to get outside the tackle box, you're able to then get rid of the football and it doesn't have to quite go. He didn't even get it past the line of scrimmage, which is an issue in itself as well. You can see where the tackle box is. Never really is able to, and then the ball doesn't get, it gets past the line of scrimmage, but he doesn't get outside the tackle box.
Exactly, Buck. Yep.
Which we just had some new stuff to come down on that. So, oh man, felt like I was in grade school and getting 100% on a report I knew I had to turn in.
Nice work, Buck. Deep in their own territory for Central Connecticut. Smith on the carry. You know, just to continue the theme of the turnover chain, yes, it's very cool that the whole sideline gets involved in it, but they really have lived up to it. If you account for all the turnovers from 2017 up to last year, 92 turnovers forced by Miami, and that's tied for third among Power 5 teams. So yes, they have the bling, but they back it up as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that has made them a better team. It made their offense better. When they don't get turnovers and they turn the ball over, hence that's where they've struggled, and that's what they want to get away from this year.
Well, Manny Diaz told us it was a 3-point game into the fourth quarter, and it got away from us a week ago against Michigan State. And part of that were 2 turnovers that Michigan State turned into 14 points and then a 38-17 loss. Today it is a different story for Coach Diaz and the Canes way in front of the Blue Devils. Timeout, Central Connecticut State. When we started this game, 90 degrees and the heat index in the high 90s. Crank up those fans on the sideline. Appreciate the fans in the building sticking with us for the second half as well.
I do too.
And our viewers. So let's hear more from Coach Diaz, the head man here in Miami, and the players talking about him.
This is Coach Diaz, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Diaz, woo. Swag check is bad. Swag check is horrible. This is the longest face mask I've ever seen in my life.
That helmet is not doing nothing for that head.
I don't know if I'm feeling the hot socks. Sock game crazy. Is it elbow pads? I don't know. Different time, different days, I guess.
If that were present day and that was him right here, and he put that up on his Instagram, what do you think the caption would be under there?
I may be smiling, but I'm not playing. With the laugh not cry later emoji.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
Man, you look happy. Yeah, man, he's a little stud.
The best part is he looks happy, a little stud. that made me laugh.
Busting on his sock game. I mean, gee whiz. Isn't he the guy who issues the playing time? Some good-natured banter. Tyshawn James for the Blue Devils.
If you think about back in the day, I mean, we only had certain socks. We didn't have all the different socks you have, compression socks, short socks, long socks. You had just one pair of socks. And they were tube socks with little things around it, right? So
I thought the coif looked really good.
Yeah, man, he's been able to keep it all together. Got to know Coach Diaz when he was at Texas and Mississippi State, and it's good to see him and his club playing well today. I mean, the pressure of being a coach at Miami is not just with the fans, it's the alums, it's all the history that they've had here as well.
It's a fair catch made. Restrepo at the 41. Coach Diaz has taken him to bowl games in both 2019 and 20. Independence Bowl in 19. The Cheez-It Bowl against Oklahoma State last year. They went 8-3, 7-2 in conference. You must challenge for a Coastal Division champ. Now, in the Coastal, that's a roulette wheel because a different team every year. And if you include Notre Dame being in the conference last year, a different opponent for Clemson the last 6 years as well.
And that's what's been the frustration when you talk to former Canes that I know well. They want to see this consistently be back fighting for 10 wins, 11 wins, going to championships, and they haven't seen that consistently.
So technically they were the Coastal champs in 2017, Buck, but lost to a Clemson team that was #1 in the nation, 38-3 in Charlotte, North Carolina, in that ACC championship game. And Bank of America Stadium will be the site of the ACC championship game again this year. That's December 4th. So put that one on your calendars. December 4th, 11th time in Charlotte. The 17th ACC championship game, and the Clemson Tigers have won 6 in a row.
I saw this Miami team, the version of it last year, play Clemson last year, and that wasn't a good outcome. But they keep having guys drafted, opportunities, and guys making plays like this. And that's the thing. Restrepo with a great catch down the field. But those are the kind of things you want to see against not just Central Connecticut State. You want to see it when you play Clemson. This is a really nice throw here. Garcia getting outside, throwing the ball. A little bit wobbly, but still gets there and effective. Restrepo knows how to catch the rock and make things happen afterward. Jonathan Cabral Martin on the coverage.
31 yards of the previous play. Down near the 10, that's Cody Brown. He's got a couple of TD runs, his first significant action of the season for the freshman. So Miami, the only way they could play Clemson, Buck, is to see him in the ACC championship game.
I think the fans would be too upset if they got there and were able to make some noise when they got there.
This year, Clemson not necessarily a lock either.
No.
By the way, they've got to play at NC State, a team they've beaten 8 times in a row. That's also on the schedule today.
Covering NC State last week, they were very understanding of what they needed to do. They didn't play well at Mississippi State, beat up on Furman last week, and now they know Clemson is coming in. That's going to be a game that I really want to see, and I'm interested to see how NC State holds up, but I also want to see if Tony Elliott and his offense can really get some things going with DJ and Will Shipley and some of the young guys that are stepping in now.
Garcia to the end zone. Was that a one-handed grab? Incomplete. It looked like Brinson had made a spectacular catch. Officials right on top of it. Incomplete.
Great effort by Romello Brinson. I don't know. They may look at this. Oh, my goodness. Ball never hits the ground.
I mean, he controlled that football. Did he go out of bounds?
Ball with the right hand, held it in, and did not bounce, didn't go anywhere. That was an outstanding play by the young receiver, Romello Brinson. Wow.
That is the definition of a one-handed grab right there.
Yeah, this isn't Madden. This isn't games. This is for real. Look, and now, usually when you hit the ground.
I think that's a touch. Did you see the left elbow?
That left elbow.
That's right.
Went in.
That hits first.
And it does. And he holds the ball. That's a touchdown. I don't know how they would not call that a touchdown. I don't see his body hitting out of bounds.
So the ball is in the right hand and the left elbow and shoulder hits, and that should be good enough for a score.
Wow.
What a replay by our technical crew. And the officials are looking at what you're looking at. Again, the call on the field was incomplete. So you must have indisputable video evidence. And Buck, I think we may have it.
I think you're right. I would be shocked if they don't give this kid a touchdown. That would be his first touchdown on the year.
What a play.
I think he's a true freshman out of Miami.
Garcia threw the ball a little bit behind Brinson, and he hauled it in with the right hand and stuck it on his hip. Let's see if the officials agree with us, Buck. I don't know.
Out of Miami Northwestern. Great football power down here. You know, Howard Snellenberger used to talk about the state of Miami, Dade, Broward, all these counties here. There's some good football play. I'm from Texas, and I got to give the guys in Miami a lot of credit. They always have dogs. And when you play them, you better be ready to play them. And I think this is what you want to see when you got these young players stepping in. This should be a touchdown. Of everybody's saying it's a touchdown. They've taken a long look at it. Now his right leg or left leg did go out of bounds, but his elbow and shoulder hit first. Got it again here. That shoulder, left shoulder down, back down. Ball doesn't move. That's a touchdown.
After further review, the receiver's left arm came down inbounds while you have possession of the ball. Therefore, touchdown.
This is what we talk about, guys. Being ready to play. You haven't had a good season so far. You haven't shown your fans much. But that play right there, those are the kind of plays and these explosive plays that we've seen today that will get your team sometimes back on track. Can they continue this momentum? That was an outstanding play by Romello Brinson.
It's also the first TD pass for Jake Garcia. So Brinson, before today, Bucket, had 3 total catches for 33 yards. That was of the spectacular variety.
I don't try to get too loud on TV, but goodness gracious, that was outstanding. I'll tell you, the enthusiasm, the young player going up from another young player. I got it. I held on to it. Mama, I'm going to bring this ball home to you. I'm coming. Hey, Northwestern, I'm happy. Y'all don't know how, when you score a touchdown, y'all don't know how hard it is.
First TD for Brinson. Part of the Yellowwood 5-star drive summary. 6 plays, just over 2 minutes. Total of 59 yards and 17 yards from Jake Garcia to Romello Brinson. First TD for each of those players. Garcia throwing, Brinson receiving. That is your Yellowwood 5-star drive summary.
Warren, I still remember my first touchdown, not only in high school, but on the JV high school team. I caught it, went for like 93 yards, and I just was so happy. Whenever you get in the end zone, man, you don't realize how good that feels.
Wait, we have the videotape from that touchdown.
I hope you do.
Didn't you know that? Our producer, Brian Woodrum, has it in the trunk of his car. He's going to get it for us. It's on VHS tape, but he'll get it.
Oh, man.
Lawson on the return. I remember my first touchdown passing in grade school, throwing a TD pass. Are you kidding? In front of the end zone to my right. That's a great, great moment. Another great moment coming up is the 4th. So it's a feature at the very beginning of the 4th quarter. You want to stay with us for that. It's sponsored by CPI Security. Coming up, it's the 4th, and we're happy to get to the 4th quarter after our hour-long weather/rain/lightning delay.
We had it all.
We did. The sun came out.
Yes, it did.
What a play for the TD for the Canes. All 8 touchdown drives under 3 minutes for Miami. Quick strike city down here in Miami Gardens. And it's 56-0. Quarterback has nowhere to go.
Oh, man.
Zach McCloud, number 53.
That's the other staple of Miami when you come in the stadium and you see a Cortez Kennedy or Russell Maryland or any of the greats. This is what they used to do. 4 down, get after you. They didn't need a lot of pressure. They played a lot of 2-man or just cover 2 and punch you in the mouth. Those guys could play. And I think that's the area that you look for. If you come in this stadium and you play for University of Miami, I got recruited by him. I didn't go on the trip. Warren Sapp. You can just say all the names, but I would say this. This is good for them against this team, but I think you still want to see this consistently when you play ACC or whenever you're playing in conference so you can get a chance to play for the next level.
Snap infraction, offense, number 64. After this, it's a goal penalty, second down.
Some of the other names up in that ring of honor include Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis and
Ed Reed, who's now back with the program.
How about Heisman Trophy winners Vinny Testaverde, Gino Torretta? Yeah, that didn't look good. That's not what you're looking for.
Craig Wood was like, hey, look, I'm ready to snap this ball. Sean Taylor, one of the all-time great safeties, career.
The tradition and history of Miami football. 5-time national champions, the last one coming.
This young kid, James Williams, number 0, will bring it. They've got a lot of guys in that. They call it the striker position. But Austin Cave, look at, I'm telling you, number 0, when James Williams, now, he's lucky he didn't get flagged for that in today's game, but he is 6'5", about 225 out of Fort Lauderdale. We may be calling his name a little bit just down the road.
He has an interception in this quarter. Got to wear the turnover chain from his own end zone. Williams, another hard hit at the 8-yard line.
Sam Brooks Jr. Backup linebacker. Starting to see some different guys get in there.
He hit Dawson for no gain.
Well, what they're doing now, Tom, is they're playing cover 2 or some version of zone and just letting guys settle, see, and fire and hit.
Punt from his own end zone for Clark on 4th down. Restrepo out near midfield to return it for Miami. Restrepo is one of the leading receivers in the game for the Canes. He's got 4 catches for 75 yards. He let it bounce. Who did it hit?
It hit a Miami player. Fortunately,
alertly, Restrepo, right?
It was either DJ Ivey or Brooks. It bounces back and hits him as Restrepo sees it and goes gets it.
Canes get a little lucky there on the special teams play.
That's normally where you usually tell them fire or Peter. Watch, it's going to bounce back and hit. It hit either, I think, DJ Ivey before we got to that part in the screen. But it
looked like the Central Connecticut players were just playing the bounce. Like they had a chance maybe to pounce on that ball, and Restrepo wasn't taking any chances and just grabbed it.
He was smart. Smart heads-up play.
Smith has 4 catches. Harley has 4 catches. He's up to 141 in his career. This is Brashard Smith on a little shovel forward. He's down to about the 47 or so.
I think these are the games also, too, where you get a chance to see guys that may not have been able to make the plays for you, but then you can see them in game action to say, look, Brashard Smith has shown up. He's flashed today.
2nd down. Inside the 45-yard line for 3 yards.
I'm going to tell you who's going to be in the whirlpool. Those defensive ends for Central Connecticut State. Every time I see Elijah Arroyo or Will Mallory coming on the edge and just blasting them consistently.
Thaddeus Franklin Jr. had that last carry for Miami. That was good enough for a 1st down. How about 22 of them in the game? Although we told you all the scoring drives less than 3 minutes. Garcia airs it out inside the 5 and caught for the score. Jacoby George, 44 yards and a Canes TD.
I'll tell you what, Jake is like, okay, Tyler, you put up 3 touchdowns. How can I get in the mix? Play action pass, getting that defense sucked in, going over the top for 6. Young players all coming out, trying to give you a little drip, a little swag, but all set up by this offensive line. Block, protect, throw and catch real easy right there. Keon Gunn just couldn't quite get there.
2nd TD pass for Garcia. Hits Jacoby George, 44 yards. Garcia now 11 of 14, 147 yards, and the 2 TD tosses. Everybody getting into the act.
Everybody getting a chance to wear a chain or put on a ring or show something. All I'll say is it's always good when you can do it. But you better back it up once it gets to when it really means something. And that's the one thing we were talking about, those names that you see around here, whether it was Jerome Brown or Ray Lewis. Not only were they backing it up, they would talk to you, punch you in the mouth, and tell you how many times they punch you in the mouth. And if you didn't respond, you were going to get beat. This is a nice throw by Jake Garcia. Put it right there. Skinny post. Woo. Your eyes get big if you're a receiver and you have all that space in front of you.
George is a freshman from Lauderhill, Florida. That's his first grab. And he took it to the house, 44 yards. Had not made a catch this season. Now he's got one, and it's a score. All kinds of firsts in our game. And the 2 freshman quarterbacks have been on target. Combined just 4 incompletions between Van Dyke and Garcia, who's 11 of 14, Van Dyke 9 of 10, and they've combined for 5 TD passes. Buck, I'm running out of ink in my pen here, keeping track of what's going on. So I'm going to need your help the rest of the way, buddy.
I'm doing it. I'm thinking of all the great stories and the IVs and the guys. The biggest thing is you knew this team had the talent. You watched them all year. They didn't show up consistently. It's nice to see this. At Central Connecticut State, I know they're going to keep fighting. This has been a great opportunity for them to play an FBS opponent and get in a position to be at a stadium like this.
Run up to the 30. Miami now has 609 yards of total offense as Smith had the rush.
Just one of those situations where Smith gets 5. Now they got to find a way to get this 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4 and keep the chains moving.
Garcia with some liquid refreshment after that deep ball to his receiver, Jacoby George. They wanted big plays on offense.
You got them.
They got it.
Deonta Smith, linebacker position. Again, this is what I wanted to see. Angles, are they taking the right angles? Are they filling the right gaps? Actually, that's Smith.
Hit him so hard. Pad came out of the shirt. Biggest offensive day this season for Miami. Pretty easy to figure that one out. Over 600 yards of offense. Williams just tosses it away. So they lost, Buck, on September 4th against #1 Alabama. That was in Atlanta, Georgia, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 33-14. And then they followed that up the next week with the win against App State at home, 25-23. Morrigalis had to make a 43-yarder with just over 2 minutes to go for the game-winning points in that one.
Yeah, they barely won that game. It was a game where they had to fight, claw, and scratch, and they were fortunate to come away with the win.
Cameron Harris had 91 yards rushing and a touchdown. He's exceeded that today with 100 yards even. He's the leading rusher for the Canes. Restrepo instructs everybody to get away, and the Blue Devils will grab it beyond that 30-yard line. Just 19 seconds to go now in the third quarter. 33-yard punt. And the ball right at about the 34-yard line for Miami, and it's 2 freshman quarterbacks, Garcia and Van Dyke. De'Aaron King with the shoulder injury after throwing the ball 59 times, a school record, completing 38 for 388 yards in the losing effort against Michigan State last Saturday. Did have a couple of TD passes, but threw a couple of interceptions as well. Miami on the run. Big pickup. Franklin Jr.
Really good job by the quarterbacks. Really manufacturing plays and getting it to the players. Short gains, long yards. Just everyone trying to get involved in the scoring of today's ball game.
28 yards rushing for Franklin Jr. And Coach Diaz will tell you, we are headed to the fourth. 62-0 Miami. 30. Garcia and Van Dyke, the freshman quarterbacks. We start with Tyler Van Dyke, 3 TD passes, Buck.
Yeah, Harley starting it off strong. And then Brashard Smith with a 75-yarder. Again, making people miss. This is what's happened against Miami. Cameron Harris running strong, running hard, running fast, showing you that track speed in a football body. Nice job by the young quarterbacks of just getting the ball to their weapons and letting them make plays. And then Jay Garcia says, hey, if he can do that, how can I get involved? Well, I'm going to show you how I get involved. Romello Brinson, hello to the college football game. And then again, I got another. Jacoby, do you want one? Do you want one too? Yes, you get one too. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Everybody gets a touchdown.
44 yards on that TD pass, the 17-yarder, and the incredible catch by Romello Brinson. Side by side, the freshman quarterbacks combined, leading the Blue Devils 62-0. Their first game against the football championship subdivision opponent since 2019. When they defeated Bethune-Cookman 63-0 for the first win for Manny Diaz as the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. High percentage pass by Van Dyke. Seven yards on the play. On the completion, Khalil Brantley.
Backup tight ends getting an opportunity to make a play.
Another play made and another touchdown. Thaddeus Franklin Jr. and 31 yards for Miami.
I love when tight ends get involved. Khalil Brantley coming across. Watch 81 just clean out that end. Offensive line. Look at 81 come across into your living room. Boom! Good block there on Washington, and that just opens up the hole. So many times we talk about what Franklin did and how well he ran the ball. Offensive line blocking down, tight end come kick out. That is a staple in this offense, and if you get it right, Arroyo was doing it, Mallory earlier, now Brantley in. They teach these guys, go hit that guy on the edge, and we will score.
Price is in for the extra point. That's now 5 rushing touchdowns today for Miami. That's a season high. Both Harris and Brown have 2, and Franklin Jr. just took it in.
Right now, 69-0, and the morale over here on the Miami Hurricanes sideline is really good. Manny Diaz, head coach, just came over and chest bumped Franklin after he scored that touchdown there. They're all really giving each other a lot of energy, a lot of power here, and I'm looking over at the sidelines, and players, even when they're holding up the touchdown rings, players are offering to take the camera and actually take photos of the guys holding up the touchdown rings. Guys, it's pretty fun down here right now. A lot of energy, a lot of good vibes.
I mean, when it's 69-0 and everybody's getting into the scoring act, it's easy to have a good time. Now, the big thing is, Buck, can they parlay this to later in the week when Virginia comes a-calling?
Yeah, that's the real thing. Games like this can give you confidence or make you too cocky. And there's a level of in-between that this Miami ball club has to have. This is not how it's going to be when you're playing Virginia, North Carolina, and all the other opponents that'll be coming your way here in the next few weeks. But what this does for you is it gives you an opportunity to see how well you can play. And there's a stretch that's coming that I'm interested to see how they're going to respond after having a game like this.
Franklin Jr. getting his first carries of the season, and he took it to the end zone from 31 yards away for his first touchdown. Rushing this year. All right, how about the sideline across the way in the bright sunshine, Lauren?
Yeah, well, over here, guys, I'm telling you, I know it's 90 degrees outside right now. On the CCSU sideline, it feels like it's 110 degrees. Guys are covering themselves with towels, throwing water bottles all over their faces, all over their heads, just to try to stay cool. It is toasty over here right now, so they're also dealing with the elements.
Temps up around 90. Sean Mitchell is in there at quarterback. Big stick and some post-whistle confrontation. Isaiah Williams took the hit from Troutman.
Tom, before they put in this top level, it was all sunny. So, fortunately for Miami, they don't have to worry about that. Sean Mitchell transfer from William and Mary, and there was talk on our call this week that the guys really respect him. He's played well. He's kind of been a captain, even though he hadn't played as much as Romello Williams.
Mitchell has seen action in every game this season. Does have 1 TD pass, 1 interception, and was 10 of 16 coming into the afternoon. So Romello Williams, in all likelihood, finishes his day 15 of 28, 132 yards.
It's just been real tough. Every yard that the Central Connecticut State team has gotten has just been hard and well earned.
Williams also threw 1 interception, and that was James Williams in the 3rd quarter. Got to wear the turnover chain. Players shaken up on the sideline for Central Connecticut. Neil Tompkins, number 66. So they'll attend to him, and now it is 3rd and 6. Here in the 4th quarter, 69-0 Miami. They've scored on all but 2 drives. And technically, 1 was just a snap to end the 2nd quarter.
Yeah. It's just been tough for Central Connecticut State. Every time you think the Blue Devils are going to get some things going. See Coach McCarty coming out, former offensive coordinator, still heavily involved with how they run this offense. And I think they anticipated it. You know, we talked to him a little bit about how it was with them not having a season last year. He said it was a lot of stuff that they had to do to bring in guys at 20 and 25 a clip, making sure that everything stayed, you know, that where we could practice and, you know, get as much work as they could.
George. Timeout on the field, 13:45 to go in the 4th, and 13:45 to go. Around the ACC, a couple of games last night and wins for Wake Forest and Syracuse on the last-second field goal. And how about Boston College in overtime in the first ever meeting with Missouri, Buck?
Yeah, I thought that was a good. You knew that was a hotly contested game. BC was able to come away with the win.
Look at Louisville trying to set up our game next week as they're on the road against Wake Forest. They're at Florida State in search of its first win of the season. And that game at the bottom, North Carolina, Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. North Carolina and Clemson, the ranked teams in the ACC. We have a feeling Wake Forest might join them in the top 25 potentially when the rankings come out.
I think you're right. And it seems like it's one of those years where I can remember calling Wake Forest games, and Jim Grove had those guys rolling. You didn't expect much, and then when you got there to see them, they always gave it to you.
Peyton Machocha's in there now at quarterback for Miami. Third quarterback utilized. .6'4", 205, and a redshirt freshman.
Tom, isn't it interesting? We talked about Wake Forest with the slow developing mesh play. Starting to see it kind of bounce around now. I'm seeing Miami run it a little bit more. Flag on the play here. Okay. Some talk about that not being a good play.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2 defense. His first of the game. 15-yard penalty, first down.
But you're seeing it more and more now with guys, teams using it effectively. Rhett Lashley in a situation, and this is where the game sometimes where you want to make sure you get guys understanding. Yeah, be smart. You got a 69-0 lead. Be smart. I think he's right. Part of the overconfidence or cockiness comes in where you're beating somebody like this, and if they're talking, you know, you just let them talk. The scoreboard is going to indicate what you need it to indicate.
The stat sheet says 679 yards of total offense for Miami. Not surprising. That's a season high. They had 440 against Michigan State a week ago. The 69 points, the most this year as well. There goes the redshirt freshman down to the 40. Flag came out at the end of that play, Buck.
Yeah. Where you get guys in that haven't played a whole lot, get a little chippy.
Holding, offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Guys wanting to make sure they allow their quarterback a chance to make a play and get up the field. You see a lot of different players, and this is a chance for them to get on film. You want to make sure you give a good account of yourself on film.
8 different players have run the ball for Miami today. Goes the quarterback again. Oh, and a late hit. That was a late hit. Yeah. Yeah, and that's right in the midst of the Miami bench area. 21 is Chizzy Omanakwe. 17-yard run. And Chizzy was late on the hit.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Same conversation Coach Diaz had, Coach McCarty has to have with Chizzy and all the others. That's totally unnecessary. And the opportunity for you to hurt someone at this point, just play football. Out of the Bronx, New York, the junior came in with 10 tackles on the year.
You have to go back to the early part of 2016 for the last time Miami scored 69 points or more. That was 70. September 3rd in 2016 against Florida A&M.
Kelvin Apari, the Harvard transfer, working with Cody Brown and just said, okay, I'm going to take you down, Cody. I got to bring you down at some point.
Cody Brown's had a fantastic game. 12 carries, 72 yards, couple of TD runs, his first of the year.
Yeah.
First carries of the season for Brown were in this game.
Highly recruited kid, signed at Tennessee, and then ended up landing at Miami.
Brown again trying to batter his way down to the 15. Didn't quite get there.
He brings that power. I mean, you can tell he's got some speed, but with him and Cameron Harris and then Donald Chaney, who was banged up, I think, out for the season, now you have an opportunity to have a 1-2 punch. You got to have multiple running backs. You got to have guys that can help you and take some of the onus off the quarterback position. And De'Aaron King came into this game with the longest run. It's good to see other guys get involved because you don't want him taking those unnecessary shots as you go down into ACC play.
Matoka has a couple of runs for 24 yards, hands this one off. Minimal gain, if at all.
Yeah, Noah Washington right there on the, as soon as the ball carrier, Brown had the ball. But yeah, the big thing coming into today's game is where were our explosive plays. We've seen them all over the place.
Miami inside the CPI security red zone. 5 for 6 in the red zone in the game for the Canes. Trying to put a few more points up on the board with 10:20 and rolling. Matoka has to run and go down. Couldn't get away. Omanakwe making the play.
He just comes untouched. I think they forgot. The count looked like it was going outside. They couldn't quite get there. But when you're still leading like you are.
Line, especially number 60, Zion Nelson.
That's a pancake. Give him some serve for that with some butter. And then look at the hands, the movement, getting back set again. Big, strong left tackle. Just coming outside. Look at him. I'm going to put my hands on you. I put my hands on you. It's done. Another pancake with some bacon. And then I love the big man. Look, work inside, work outside. Cody Brown comes off his butt. Watch this, guys. This is hard to do as a big cat. Get that right foot step, go over there. And then again, I'm going to look you up, linebacker. You want some of this big man love? I'm going to put my hands on you again. in. Look at me. Put my hands on you and just put you out of the way. That young man right there is playing some ball out of Sumter, South Carolina. We will be talking about him in the future.
Dominating performance by the offensive line. And number 60 in the mix as well, Zion Nelson. Dawson on the carry. That's a loss of 2. Taylor on the play. 60 getting a breather. What an afternoon for all of the Miami Hurricanes. Sumter, South Carolina, from the Palmetto State.
Highly recruited. The kid has come in and played well. And they need that for this offensive line. That's been a struggle for them on that interior. We talked about it today. They moved a lot of people around. Keontae Lucas on that run. Again, are you tracking? Are you getting to the ball? Are you making plays? And this Miami team has been able to do that pretty consistently today. Jalen Harrell on that tackle.
3rd and 9. Blue Devils are going to drop to 1-3 on the season. Their lone win came in conference against Wagner on September 11th. Up the sideline, completed for what looks like first down yardage, right near the 40-yard line. Keontae Lucas. Still some heavy hitting going on out there, Buck.
It is. Hey, and I'll say this too. I mean, as much as we talk about Miami having the ACC schedule, this Central Connecticut State team has a lot left to play for in Northeast Conference play as well.
So they are off next week, Buck, and then they have homecoming October 9th. As that pass is completed up near midfield as well. There is a flag. Dolagala made the catch. Their homecoming October 9th is against.
They have to take it up another notch.
Mitchell back the other way, and it's incomplete.
And it looks like the Canes want to preserve a shutout. Central Connecticut State wants to get in that end zone.
Third down for the Blue Devils. Mitchell's 2 of 5 since coming in the game for Williams, who was 15 of 28 through the air. At the 20, it's going to be very close right there, Buck.
Yeah, it looks like it's real short, but I would imagine at this point they are going for it. About a yard short. Mitchell knows the blitz is coming. His clock is going. Get the ball, get rid of the football. The ball is almost knocked down by the interior D-line, but he was able to get that there.
Mitchell did see action in the game last week against Southeastern Louisiana. 6 of 8 and 47 yards. So here he is on 4th and 1. Mitchell does it himself on the sneak for the graduate student from Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about when we were talking about the heads-up play right here. Look, where do you find the opening gap to get that yardage, that 1 yard that you need? Mitchell does a nice job there. Chase Smith, 41, coming up to make the tackle.
First time in the red zone for Central Connecticut today. As we cross 4:30 on the Eastern Seaboard. James on the catch.
Again, So I want to be Captain Obvious here, but this is a problem that the Canes have had. But on that particular play, you see 3 defenders showing up and making sure that they secure the tackle. A few weeks ago, this wasn't happening. Right here, watch. Like bees. Bop, bop, bop. I'm stinging you each time you catch that ball, and that's what they need to do. If they keep doing that, that bodes well, because that's where turnovers come, and that's where guys start turning it down. They don't want to get hit like that.
3 catches for 45 yards for James. He is the leading receiver for CCSU. Mitchell's pass was deflected and incomplete.
You know, the thing with CCSU is this might, you know, this is a chance for them. What do you get out of this game? Let's score. We can say we scored against Miami. You don't want moral victories, but you want to compete. And these guys from Miami who haven't had a chance to play, watch, get that hand up. Wave your hands in the air and knock the ball like you just don't care.
Avery Huff, the redshirt freshman.
You got to love football, man.
Romello Williams, the starting quarterback, on the sideline now in that Miami sunshine. And it's been all Hurricanes today as we approach the 5-minute threshold. Into double coverage, and the receiver took the brunt of the contact.
You could see that from up here. As soon as that ball was caught, Miami defenders, listen to the contact here. Ball coming to the receiver, and as soon as Dawson touches it, yeah, they talked about making sure they're secure tackles. I've seen that today. Now, will it carry over? That's the key.
Joe Zoppi for a 30-yard field goal to get the Blue Devils on the board. It's a low-line drive. It's underneath the crossbar. Blue Devils had a chance to get on the board. He made a 33-yarder last week, and this one just never got enough air under it for Zoppi.
I don't know if Aiden Clark also got a clean snap.
Yeah,
it looked a little, but
the trajectory was low to begin with, but
still a chance to make that.
I understand. He might have been a little nervous out there, you know, trying to get on the board, trying to get some points, but so the sophomore misses on the field goal, and now Miami comes out with just under 5 minutes to go. They have 697 total yards. Buck, you're not going to like this.
I know. That's the Edrin James game when they should have played early in the year. The hurricane happened, and then UCLA gave up all those yards. They haven't been playing defense at UCLA since then consistently.
697, and they're about to add to it. A school record set today by the Miami Hurricanes. If you stuck with us, as far as our viewership is concerned, you just saw history.
So when I was calling Colts games at preseason and, you know, doing different things with them on Colts radio, Edrin James gets drafted. And I said, look, man, why'd you have to do that to us? Why'd you have to put up all those yards? He said, dog, I just had to do what I had to do. And sure enough, that was the year UCLA was actually playing well during the year, missed Miami early, and Miami just went off.
Ryan Risk is the quarterback now for Miami, the 4th different quarterback of the game. We've seen Matoka, Van Dyke, Garcia, and now Risk. R-I-Z-K.
Good strong run by Franklin. Good looking kid.
6 yards on the run by Franklin.
Talk about Miami having great players. At running back position has always been one where they've had some bell cows, guys that can play. Going back to Otis Anderson, winding up in the Super Bowl, getting ready to run over you. Derek King, like I said, staying here and giving this Miami team another year when he could have gone off to the next level.
Threw for over 2,600 yards a season ago. 64% completion rate. A school record last year for Derek King. Through 23 TD passes. Through the first line of defense up to the 40. That's Franklin again. He got 8 yards on that carry.
I think this week helped Miami figure a couple of things out. Point of attack has looked a lot better against an opponent that you should dominate, but there's still something Rhett Lashley has talked about them needing to do better. And the balance that you get, it doesn't really matter if the yards have to show, and you have to also give your quarterback an opportunity to be comfortable when he has to throw the football.
Coach Lashley representing with the colors of the U on full display here at Hard Rock Stadium. Franklin again over the 45-yard line. And they got 7. How are we doing on time here? Inside of 2:30 to go, Buck.
At this point of the game, you know what's coming. But it's kind of like when you go in for surgery, you think you're going to outsmart the anesthesiologist, but it just keeps coming, pounding on you. This running game is just being effective. It has all game long. The yards you talked about, 306 rushing yards.
.88 yards and a touchdown all in the second half for Franklin.
Slow developing play, but it gets you some big yards because what it does is it makes everybody kind of compact, and then if you come out on the other side, you got a nice long run.
So we told you about the game against Virginia coming up, first conference game, and then it's at North Carolina. NC State, which is taking on Clemson today. Travel to Pitt, to Heinz Field, home against Georgia Tech. That's how it lines up for the Miami Hurricanes. And as the coaches told us, all the ACC goals are still right in front of them, trying to represent the Coastal in the title game. And that ACC schedule unfurling in front of the Canes after this dominating performance of 723 total yards of offense, a school record, and 69 points on the board.
Well, if you're Miami, you don't want to be a front runner, meaning you take a game like this and you play well, and then if you struggle next week or Thursday, how do you respond to it? I think it's easy to come out and know that you didn't need your starting quarterback, you didn't need a lot of things, but you played well. Now the key is how do you keep building on that? Because there's going to be adversity in the season. This is one of those situations. If you want Manny Diaz to stick around, play like that. Coach, you have to coach your guys to be ready for that adversity. And he knows that. The staff knows it. You can talk to him about it. But when you get a win, man, you enjoy it. Take those 24 hours or however long, because it's going to be a short week, and now you got to get back ready to play on Thursday.
And that will do it. Final seconds ticking off the clock. Manny Diaz, win number 16, is the head coach of the Canes. And they turn right around and play Virginia on Thursday. 69-0 is the final. 734 yards of total offense. 5 touchdowns through the air and 5 touchdowns on the ground for Miami. Don't forget, Louisville at Wake Forest, 12:30 next Saturday. You want to check your local listings for the game and time.